Welcome tankers! cooBLIMEY here with a sneak preview for you of Armored Warfare. In just a few hours, the very first public beta starts, and it's the first chance the public gets to try the game out. And it also means that the non-disclosure agreement just dropped, and I can finally show you guys videos of all the different tanks and how they play. And here we are going to look at the VBL. It's a quick little wheeled vehicle with a pretty pathetic little machine gun. It's extremely underpowered, like all the scouts that I've seen so far in the game. And just like World of Tanks, the scouts are extremely underpowered. But it is extremely fast, and it's really maneuverable, and it's really fun. It's one of my favorite little tanks in the game. As you can see here, it's really fast, and just wait till you see it shoot. So I'm going to start on this map. This train track seems to be about the only major cover for a long distance, so a lot of the battle ends up either on the hill just over to our left out of screen there, or on either side of the train tracks here. So I'm going to start by scouting down the train tracks, and as you notice, trees are really devastate your speed, so I'm actually intentionally knocking them down now because I don't want to get killed because I hit a tree and stop dead.
Identify target.
So as you can see, a little arrow pops up whenever you've spotted someone, and it tells you what direction they are, so you know to look over that way and take shots at them. And you also get a sixth sense type of indicator when you're spotted, so I know I'm safe so far, even though there are guys near me. So I'm just happy to scout this ridge, and you're spotting a few tanks here or there. And see the little orange tank up in the top center of your screen? That is the sixth sense indicator, and whenever you see that, you want to get behind cover, because there are a lot of tanks in this game that have 100-round autoloaders, and a lot of tanks that'll do 500 damage to you too. And in this tank, you are in grave danger of being one-shot or destroyed in just seconds. But as you see, our team is pushing forward. No one on the enemy team seems to have taken the train tracks this time, so that gives us a chance to push through. You wouldn't want to do this with this tank alone, because it would get creamed. So now we spot a Sheridan over here, and he's got a devastating gun. So you really want to get rid of this tank.
Target locked. Target locked. Target gone.
And now, in case anyone over there has shots at me, I'm going to hide behind his carcass for a second. But it doesn't seem like it, so we're going to push on and go look for their Artie. And Artie is particularly devastating in this game, despite everything they said, how it was not going to be anywhere near as bad as World of Tanks. It's pretty bad. They're all really fast, they all have autoloaders, and they can turn really quickly too, so I don't know, they're going to have to nerf Artie a lot. And it looks like this guy, is he AFK? Looks like it. So I'll just sit here happily, get some free damage. And you do not want to go one-on-one with this tank unless you're behind them. So you'll want to maneuver around and wait for help. And now that I have it, we might as well go in. And an interesting thing with this gun, with all the machine guns, HE only does maybe a third or a tenth as much damage as AP, but HE is reliable and usually causes damage, whereas AP will almost all bounce on certain tanks, even from the side or rear. So with these guns, HE is usually the best option, unless it's a really lightly armored tank, and then you want AP. But if the tank you're shooting has any armor at all, you'll want to switch to HE. And now we're gonna push forward and try and get rid of all their RD and this TD over here.
Target locked.
And watch how fast this TD can turn and how fast his turret turns. And we're lucky he is shooting behind us. Like, look, his turret has followed us the entire time. So they have made life rather hard for scouts in this game. So hopefully they will
Target locked.
give scouts a buff. And actually, main battle tanks seem to be extremely overpowered, so those really need a nerf. And Artie, I'd rather Artie, like, look, Artie hit that shot. They always seem to hit you when you go Artie hunting, so they're gonna have to do something more about Artie and buff the scouts quite a bit. So here we are on the same map again, but I'll show you a different area. And this thing can actually climb some pretty steep hills, but obviously not a giant boulder there. And this is probably one of the most beautiful maps in the game. Coastal Threat is probably way nicer, but this is probably the second best map. So we're going to try and get behind this guy. He isn't AFK, despite what it looks like here. And as you can see, just one hit is devastating for the scouts in this game. So I'm going to try and run away, but I probably won't make it because these guys can reload really fast. And luckily, I can outrun this guy's turret. So hopefully some friends will come and help me out here.
Target locked.
And auto-aim, there was a bug where auto-aim, you'd lock on a tank and then it would just
Target locked.
unlock for some reason. So if you're seeing auto-aim go on and off, that's a bug and it should be fixed by the time the early access open beta starts later today.
Target locked.
And that little orange icon you just saw there meant that someone was targeting me with a guided missile. So whenever someone with missiles is pointing at you, you'll get that little warning so you know to get out of the way. And that's obviously because they can aim the missile in flight. So you really need help getting away from those. And now on this map, we are going to go take a forward position over here, and I've been spotted. So we are going to go try and run into a gully here and stay out of the line of fire of all the people. There'll be people over in my left and now straight ahead from where we're looking here. So this is about the only place you can hide here. So I'm going to pop out and try and spot these guys. An XVM style last known position indicator would be nice, so hopefully someone will build a mod soon. And as you can see, I've been spotted again. So we're gonna go sit in this gully and try and keep these guys lit. And an interesting thing for the scout vehicles, when your reticle is pointing at a tank and you've got the red outline there, if you push V, your team, it's like marking a target in World of Tanks. Your team gets an indicator saying, you know, shoot at this tank, and then you also get increased spotting damage, and they take increased damage while you're marking them. So again, I'm gonna sit and stay safe and try and light these guys as best I can, and then I'll probably think about moving forward here.
Identified. Hostile PC.
And a Weasel is the next tank up from the VBL, so I know he'll be hard to kill, and I'll want to get rid of him quickly, and it cost me a fair bit of health doing it. But you'll want to get rid of that tank. The Weasel's another really fun one, very similar to this one, extremely underpowered, but really fun to drive. So now we're pushing on their cap circle, so I'm expecting to see Artie somewhere around here. And I'm not going to go into the circle, or else we'll tell the other team where I am. So I decided to go left and search for their Artie, and we found him. And as you can see, he has a hell of a lot of hit points. And it will take me a lot of hits to kill him. So it didn't look like anyone else was there, so we'll think about pushing up and seeing if we can kill him. The Artie in this game all have auto loaders, and they can shoot 3 rounds within, 10 or 15 seconds, so you really want to get rid of them. And they all have huge splash radiuses, so they are very dangerous. So if you can get rid of them, do.
Target's gone. Target locked. That was close.
And we get taken out by the TD. So once you upgrade the VBL, you lose the machine gun and you get missiles. Now, I don't really like the missiles in this game. If you watch my previous video, I mentioned you have to stop for 3 seconds before you can even fire, and then you have to sit out in the open for as long as the missile's in the air, and they all have really long travel times. And they only do about as much damage as the regular ammo, but have much longer reload times and much lower DPM, so in most cases I probably wouldn't even use the missiles. As you can see, I can't even fire until my reticle turns green there, and by that time he's dead while my missile's in midair. So, and I don't know why they put missiles on a scout vehicle, because the last thing you want to do when you're going full speed and in danger is stop for 8 seconds.
Identified. Hostile. P target locked on.
Like here, watch, I can't shoot him. I have to just take some hits.
Target's gone.
And of course someone else gets them before I can even fire. So yeah, I assume people will be using missiles a lot when the game first goes live, but once they realize they kind of suck and they're hard to control, and and missiles, it's almost impossible to hit a tank that's close to you with a missile, especially with a tank like, say, the Swing Fire, which lobs a missile up and around in the air. So if something's close to you, the missile has to kind of do a giant loop in midair and come back, and it's really hard to hit anything. And now I don't know what I'm going to do, because if you have a tank circled, how are you supposed to stop for 3 seconds and fire? So I'm just trying to stay here and hope friends will kill him, but someone else gets me, Sheridan, in the meantime.
Direct hit. Direct hit.
And now back onto this map, and we are up by quite a bit, so it's just cleaning up.
Hostile tank. Direct hit.
So like always, you want HE wherever possible against heavy armored tanks, and AT if you can against the lighter armored. And as you can see, the reticle swings wildly with these really fast wheeled vehicles that turn and move really fast. And as with auto aim popping on and off randomly, it makes it rather hard to control. So hopefully they'll fix that bug, because it moves so fast you really need auto aim here, or else you'll be whipping your mouse back and forth. And wheeled vehicles are rather hard to control, because you cannot turn if you're stopped, because they're wheeled vehicles, not tracked. So it'll take people a little while to get used to them. they're kind of awkward if you're used to World of Tanks. Whereas the tracked vehicles work exactly the same as World of Tanks. So here we're using AP, because he's a really lightly armored tank. And now there's only a couple guys left, so we might as well push right at them. And if you have the side or rear, of course you want AP, because it'll do 10 times as much damage.